all that good stuff.
All right, so my name's Artie Rollins. I'm an assistant commissioner for the Parks Department. I handle a couple divisions. I handle the fleet, a capital division, shops, and as of late, a organized sustainability division, which is something, you know, you got to make a mental note. And tonight, Google it and follow up with it, because just recently, I saw some articles about, you know how Fortune 500s have these CFOs and EEOs and EOOs, but as of late now they got a chief sustainability officer sitting at the table. Yeah. So something to look into, because it's a lot of low-hanging fruit and you can really make some impact. But back to the tour. So I do about 5 to 10 tours a week, kind of structure it to what you want to get out of it. So I'll quickly go through the benefits. So our sustainability team is looking at green roofs as a sustainability component. We can change our boilers, we can change our air conditioners, our LED light bulbs in the building, put some windows on the building and change the culture of the building. But the envelope is kind of like the last thing you want to hit, and green roofs really help out with that. So when this roof was black, which it was 8 years ago, on a day like today, if I took an infrared gun on a black surface, it would be 160 degrees. That means there'd be an envelope around this building of 160 degrees. So this green roof is helping prevent that from happening. So on a day like today, you don't feel like you're in 160 degrees right now. And the reason is you've got a nice cool breeze coming across these native plants, which are dissipating water, evapotranspiration, and that's what's cooling things down here. The other benefits is stormwater sequestering. So every gallon I'm able to keep out of our combined sewer overflow, or keeping from going to our sewage treatment plants, DEP is saving money. Big cost to process a gallon of water during a big storm. They'll tell you 1/100th of a penny, because they get billions of gallons of water. But if you ask DEP how much it costs to build infrastructure to manage a gallon of water, they'll tell you $7. So you just got to think about that. That's insane.
Wow.
So if you can indefinitely sequester a gallon of water and let DEP know that, DEP will give you money to do that.
You're saying $7 for the infrastructure and the processing together.
Yeah.
The processing to them is like nothing.
Nothing, yeah,
but
compared to the infrastructure.
The treatment plants and the
a sewage treatment plant costs billions to build.
Yeah.
And even with all of that and all the regulations, DEP does some funky stuff, because they still can't handle the massive amount of water gets hit when you have a big storm, which is called combined sewer overflow. And one of the many things they do that you don't want to know about is they dump raw sewage right into our waterways, which happens very often. And another thing is DEP gets penalized for that. So DEC, every time DEP dumps water into our waterways, DEC sues them and gets millions of dollars back. So it's a big process to try to sequester stormwater. All right, any questions, just stop me anytime, and I'll answer anything you need to know. All right, so these are native plants. This is the first system that went in about 8 years ago. 8 years ago, when we Googled green roofs, Gaia came up. He's a local guy in the Bronx, Paul Mankiewicz. The trick to every system here is a lightweight inert material plus about 20% organic material. When I went downstairs, I took a cubic yard of dirt. From down there, it'd be 100 pounds per square foot saturated. This product right here, per square foot saturated, is 25 pounds. Another thing out there, a cubic foot out there is only going to hold about 1 inch of water before it starts dissipating or it just overflows. This product can hold 2 inches of water. So, as far as growth medium, every system up here has a lightweight inert material. It's either this expanded styrofoam or it's expanded shale, slate, and clay, and a couple other products. These are native plants, so you want native plants. You can see already they're kind of wilting from the little drought we had about 2 weeks ago. We did get a little rain, but You know, if these were getting a consistent 1 inch a week, this stuff wouldn't be wilting the way it is right now. However, they're native plants, so they're able to handle it. So once they start getting the rain, which we average about 1 inch a week, the plants will start coming back and they'll start maximizing it. So we kind of give our stuff up here a little TLC, because we want our plants, this is a demonstration for the Parks Department, so we want our plants constantly at a maximum height. So if we go a week without 1 inch of water, we'll throw 1 inch of water up here on all the beds to make sure everything's at their pristine. All right, any questions?
So this has Gaia soil in it. What other soils are you doing? Other proprietary soils?
Yeah. So we'll go around.
Yeah,
There's
great.
30 systems up here. It's 30,000 square feet up here.
Wow.
So it's the largest multiple systems at this level in the entire world.
Wow.
Some colleges have multiple systems next to each other, but they're small, like 2 foot or 4 foot by 4 foot samples. These are extensive systems that they're all next to each other to compare to. So this first system is Gaia. It holds 2 inches of water.
Can I ask a question? If you get more than 1 inch or 2 inches of water, or more than this, where does it go?
So what happens, it will go what normally happens on the roof. It'll go to the roof drains. So these systems would get saturated. Let's say this system, for example, let's say you have a 3-inch rainstorm, which it's really kind of rare. In the last couple of years, I think we've had 1 or 2 3-inch rainstorms that were continuous. So what happens that this system soaks up the 1 inch, soaks up the next inch. By the 3rd inch, it's going to just kind of overflow and then just go down the roof drains. So the roof is normally pitched. The roof would normally, without this system, be able to handle 3 inches of rain anyway, because that's the way it's designed. All right, these 2 systems here are called mineral soil. They're tray systems, so if you do have a leak, you can always pick the trays up. Mineral soil is expanded shale, slate, and clay. The plant life is called sedum. So this is 90% of your roofs that are out there. It's very low maintenance. Mineral soil is a very common product. Germany's been doing green roofs for about 40 years. Germany has this FLL guideline for green roofs. Mineral soil is that guideline. Mineral soil per cubic foot, saturated, is about 72 pounds per cubic foot. It's a little heavy, so you don't really have a foot of mineral soil on a roof unless you know your roof can handle it. If you can, you should maximize whatever your roof can handle with the saturated load. Brooklyn Grange down in Brooklyn, those guys found some buildings that can handle a lot of load, so they have a good foot of mineral soil in their farms down there.
So they're doing mineral soil, and so mineral soil can handle urban ag product plants.
The cool thing about mineral soil, it is a rocky substance. So at a very low profile, the plant has a sense it's being stabilized. It can really hold on. If you put these plants in 6 inches of sand or 6 inches of styrofoam or something super lightweight, the plant's not going to get the structure that it can hold itself up. But in the mineral soil, it can. So in the mineral soil, the plants grow pretty good. So this is sedum. Sedum's not native, but it can handle our zone. It's a succulent plant, so it sucks up a lot of water. And it's very low maintenance. It fills in pretty good, and as you can see, minimal weeding. Already, if this was a bed exposed without sedum, you'd have weeds in here already. Right now, if you look at it, it's hardly anything. The system holds about 1 inch of water, which is about 90% of our storms. And like I said, they're trays. You can pick them up and move them in case there's a leak or something.
Right.
It's like a dunes plant. It's like a dunes.
A what?
Dune. This is a dune-friendly plant. What kind of plant is this?
It's a succulent. It's like a cactus.
Yeah. Dry area. Go.
So that was 4 inches of mineral soil. This is 6 inches of mineral soil. That holds about an inch. This holds about an inch and a half. This is as heavy as we're going to go with this roof. This roof can hold about 50 pounds per square foot, plus a live load and snow and safety factor. So this is about 36 pounds per square foot. So if your engineer says you can go 40, 50 pounds, you might want to go with this system. If you don't want to give it a lot of TLC, you basically just want to plant it and just visit it once or twice a year. Sedum is the plant to go with. Mineral soil is the growth medium to go with. What we're looking at here is we have a series of 20 tanks downstairs. Each tank holds about 300 gallons, so we have the capacity to hold 6,000 gallons of water. My guy set up a little pump downstairs, pumps up, and it actually sets up an automatic sprinkler system up here in case we go a week without an inch of water. Potentially we can water the plants if we want to.
So bigger picture, like all of this testing that you're doing up here, is Parks Department putting a lot of green roofs up on their buildings?
Well, the problem is...
Or is this more just like for the general population of New York City to come and, like you were saying, condo buildings come and look and see what their options are?
It's for the general population of New York City. But Parks Department it's an environmental agency,
right? So
it really should push stuff like this,
right?
But the problem is if and we're pursuing that getting a proposal together for that. The problem is the Parks Department has 1 million square feet of flat roof. So we can go out tomorrow and put like a product called Zero Floor for $10 a square foot. $10 million, the Parks Department will have 1 million square feet of green roof.
DP should give you a grant.
Well, we're working on that. We're working on that. The problem is 1 million square feet of roof is going to need some maintenance, and that's the big problem. The parks, we have to go to city government and tell city government, we got 1 million square feet of flat roof. Now we need to hire 20 seasonal park workers at like $2 million a year. They might say to us, well, you know what, why don't you take that $2 million and buy LED light bulbs? You'll probably get a better bang for the buck, and we have billions of light bulbs in the city to change. You might as well work on that. So that's kind of what we're up against right now.
But there's no counter argument that that's like a really great job to be employing, you know.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, So we're trying to lobby DCAS, our energy company, our energy
provider,
our energy provider for the city. We're trying to lobby a DEP, we're trying to lobby the Parks Department, obviously, and then we're going to lobby City Hall to say, listen, we got an opportunity to set up, these year-round lines
job program
that can work on it. So between these 4 resources, the Parks Department may roll out 1 million square feet of green roof in the upcoming years. So right now, I have some interns working on that proposal.
Yeah, that's a great. And you're saying that Parks has 1 million square feet of flat roof. Obviously, there's more square footage that's not flat.
Yeah. We have 1 million square feet of flat roof. We're lucky. New York City's lucky. All these buildings, without me having an engineer check out those buildings over there, guaranteed those buildings can hold 25 pounds per square foot.
Right.
So if they pull the trigger, they can put green roofs on all our projects in the city, save billions of dollars in stormwater sequestering, keeping those buildings cool, opening up environmental areas. You figure hundreds of years ago that was green space. And when they built these buildings, they thought that would never be green space. You look right now, they can all be green space now. And the buildings are structurally sound enough for something like that.
What determines like how much weight that like you could hold on a roof?
So an engineer will have to look at it. An engineer checks the drawings, sees what the building can hold. This building's about 30 years old. After like 20 years ago, they started getting to valued engineering. So this building, if it was built today, they would design it just to hold safety load and snow load on this building, and that would be it, because they want to save money. This building they got away with an extra 50 pounds. Those buildings over there, you could probably put an extra 100 pounds. It's just the way they designed buildings years ago.
How many pounds per square feet does the sedum?
This is a 6-inch mineral soil. This is 36 pounds per square foot saturated.
A little less over there.
Yeah, that's 4 inches. It's about 26, 27 pounds per square foot saturated.
Where does the water in these tanks come from? How does it get in those tanks?
Okay, so what my guys did is they went downstairs in the ceiling, they cut all these roof drains, and they piped all the water down to those tanks there. So when we have a storm, all the water from this section goes into those tanks. If we have a 1-inch rainstorm, those tanks only fill up about a third. So it just gives you an idea how much water the systems are absorbing. It's just, what happened was, I put one tank outside. My office is right downstairs. I have a terrace. I put one tank out there, and we had a 1-inch rainstorm, and the tank just filled up. I was like, this is insane. It's just it's black and white data that shows, that if the green roof wasn't here, that tank would have overflowed 20 times. But the fact that the green roof is here, that tank barely filled up. So then we expanded it. So normally we have 3,000 to 4,000 gallons of water that we can always use as sprinklers at night and water stuff up here.
Look, that's what we wanted to do. Those vertical things.
Oh.
All right, so we're looking at a couple different systems here. We have a green wall, which is pretty cool. It's just an aesthetic factor. It's really doesn't have that many benefits. We did have some students, maybe even from Pratt, maybe, I don't know, that came up with a concept of putting green walls on the south side of buildings to actually cool down the whole south side of a building. So that would work, but...
Are you finding the maintenance of these hard because of the way that the verticality of the water?
Yeah, we got into green walls early. We had like a 4-inch system. We just got rid of it last year, so we went with this 6-inch system.
Yeah.
They have 6, 8, 12 inches.
Yeah.
I think they work. They just don't have the stormwater sequestering as like a vertical system,
Right.
a horizontal.
It's just more about the energy in the something.
Yeah.
What does sequestering
And
mean?
aesthetics is the big thing. This system is 2 inches of mineral soil, so if your engineer says you really can't handle a lot of weight on the roof, you can only handle about 12 pounds per square foot. That's what this system is, saturated, 12 pounds per square foot. This is a sedum too. When we originally planted this bed about 4 years ago, there are 3 different types of sedum. This one sedum became dominant at the 2 inches of mineral soil and took over. So if you don't think you can put a green roof on, and your engineer says you can, you may be able to get away with 15 pounds or 12 pounds, there is a system out there that can do it. You saw 12 inches of Gaia, so that holds 2 inches of water. This is 6 inches of Gaia with native plants. So this is half the cost, half the benefits, half the stormwater sequestering. Gaia, once again, is expanded styrofoam, super lightweight. This is 13 pounds per square foot saturated, and then it goes down to about 7 dry. What's really interesting to look at is that, and it's very strange, and Paul Mankiewicz is checking this out, the native plants, even at this point, actually look a little bigger than the 12-inch, which is strange. Midsummer, you'll see they're all actually bigger, and by the end of the summer, they grow even bigger. So it's really, it's a very unusual phenomenon why in 6 inches of Gaia, the native plants are growing better than 12 inches of Gaia.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what we do is, we look at the sedum. There's about 12 different types of sedum growing. When I find out there's like one type of sedum that's a little stressed out, it's not growing as much as the other, what I'll do is I'll cut the plant and I'll take cuttings from it. I'll put them in those elevated beds, and then we give it a little TLC and we try to reinforce that one sedum. And we just play around if we have some like special plant we want to try to do. And that one bed there, I'm going to put some for myself, some hot peppers and some stuff. So the elevated plant is just like an ideal soil and ideal growing conditions. All right, so we're looking at a couple beds right here. There's a bag system over there. So what it is, it's bags of mineral soil that you carry up and you lay down. So mineral soil is the same thing. What's up, man?
Excuse me, I just want to let you know that the alarm is going off downstairs in the garage.
Shale, slate, and clay. What's cool about that is you carry these bags up, you lay them in place, put little slits where you want your sedum to grow, and you don't have to do any weeding.
Right.
The problem is 800 square feet there, so there's 800 plugs there. Every year you got to kind of open that cut a little more so the plant could grow. So bag systems are good, but they have a downside. Right
Do you make the bags yourself, or you're buying them?
There's a company called Green Pack.
Green Pack?
Yeah. And they sell the bag with the mineral soil. They just deliver it. You just carry the bag up, throw it down, and it's all ready to go.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a decent
I've seen the
product.
trays, but I've never seen the bags.
So the system right here, these 5 beds, it's not really a green roof. What it is, it's regular potting soil with no drainage mat. So we just wanted to see like a down and dirty, super cheap green roof type detail.
No drainage mat.
Yes, so it's pretty interesting. 6 inches of regular potting soil, highly organic. You got to kind of be careful with the highly organic growth medium, because the organic stuff decays over a while, becomes a little hard for the roots to grow. So what we're thinking is the first couple of years before this product started decaying, the roots got established pretty well, and then the 3 different types of native plants came back very easily every year. And there's a good example right here. So this stuff goes down at like $5 a square foot, which is basically the cost of labor to bring it up here, dump it in there, and the cost of regular potting soil, which we get in these big giant bags. It's called Metro Mix.
Now, without the drainage mat, do you find that you have any problems in terms of the runoff or in terms of soil?
No, it grows pretty good, and we don't have any problems. The only thing is, at 6 inches, this is 50 pounds per square foot. At 6 inches that Gaia, it's 25 pounds per square foot. So that's the problem.
Right.
If you don't have an engineered soil, you're going to bring a lot of weight on the roof, which is all right if you can handle it, but you're not getting the benefit out of it.
Right.
Rockefeller Center is considered a green roof, but those are roof gardens. They have sections there, like 2-3 feet of soil.
Right.
It's just,
Right,
it's a little different thing.
Yeah.
Right here is a monolithic mineral soil, expanded shale, slate, and clay again with sedum. But what we did was we created some swales in here, and believe it or not, those high spots are actually the low areas. And
So this is what we're talking about, mini topography.
yeah. See, we've been doing this for 8 years, and this topography thing was brought up by other people, like people coming in during tours. So that's kind of the way you want to go with green rooms. So, example, if you have a client, you want to, give that client the good experience. What you can do is at the beginning or perimeter go with like a 6-inch or 4-inch mineral soil, then maybe a deeper Gaia, 12 inches, and then we'll show you the hydroponics, which is really a big seller over there. It can really give you some elevation in your green room. On this side, it's regular potting soil again, but what we did was we had some summer interns mix an extra 30% perlite in it. So this is considered a 30% perlite mix. And then what we did was we broadcasted out seeds in here for a native flowering plant mix. So these are what you'll see in a couple of weeks. Once this all starts flowering, you'll see millions of bees out here, both native bees and our honeybees on the other side. And it looks like the whole thing's moving. It's pretty cool.
What's the perlite for?
Perlite's a super lightweight volcanic type material. It's in potting soil normally at like 15%, but we added a little more in here and it's like 30%. On the other side, we'll show you an 80% mix, which is pretty cool. It's just a super lightweight, like material. You see it in regular potting soil, but not at this percentage. See what happened what I've learned is that our normal horticulture people, and Parks Department has a bunch of horticulture people, they were not really focusing too much on soil weight. So once you get into green roofs, that's what you really have to focus on. So that's why these products that, you know, why isn't there 30% perlite in regular potting soil? There just was no need for that. But when you get into green roofs, you really want that 80% super lightweight inert material. This way you can maximize your benefits.
Can you talk a little bit? I think it looks like there's some monitoring equipment up there.
Yeah, so if you go to the Parks website, and this is where you really got to get the word sustainability out there. So if you go to Parks website, which is an environmentally conscious agency, you got to click other. You got to, under other, you got to click sustainability. Under sustainability, you got to click green, and under green, you got to click green roofs. Once you do all that clicking in this environmentally sensitive agency, you'll see we have a weather station up here, which basically shows the conditions up here, moisture settings at soil. Also, we have reflectivity meters around it showing the difference between the temperature pointed at a green area and the white area and the black area. So it's pretty good.
Great.
So after you do all those clicks, then you'll get to us.
I don't think I can hear anything from this.
Tray systems. This company is called Green Grid. There's another company, Live Roof. There's a bunch of guys out there that have this product. What this is that these guys grow this stuff at their farms upstate or Pennsylvania or Jersey, and you call them up 8-10 months before you want your product. You tell them what you want in the tray, and they come just like this. I mean, the system's about 3 years old up here, 4 years old. But it looked just like this when we got it. So basically it's 4 inches of mineral soil, sequesters 1 inch of water, which is like 90% of our storms. It's minimal weeding because it already comes a fully established bed like this. My guy's carrying it up here and laying in place. It's about $25 a square foot. So it's relatively cheap. That's labor and material. That's not engineering cost and architectural cost and consulting cost. It's just labor and material to lay the product out. Big benefit with this is that if you do have a leak and people suspect it's from the green room, you can pick these panels up and check that the leak's got nothing to do with the green room.
Holy cow. I'm like terrified of bees.
Have you been stung?
I've been stung by like wasps and stuff.
What?
What?
types of hydroponics. This is called wet-dry hydroponics. So there's a little tiny pump at the bottom. It pumps the water up and it cascades on the inside. And it basically does that for half an hour. And then it shuts off for half an hour. Inside each one of these little tubs is a mix of water with the nutritional levels. That's exactly what that plant wants to grow. So in a couple of weeks, all this will be filled out like crazy. It actually grows like at an insane rate. We have lettuce and peppers and a couple different types of tomato plants here.
How come some have like the cage and some don't? Is that...
I think it's the way the plant's going to grow. So lettuce, they don't really have to worry about the cage, but the tomatoes and the peppers, when the plant grows, it just needs a little support. So what's cool about the lettuce, in about a month from now, they're going to cut this thing, and they're going to have a head of lettuce. And then about 3 weeks later, another head grows. They'll cut it again, and then it grows again. So, I mean, this thing alone, it's like $200 for this, $250 for this thing. I mean, just one cutting of lettuce pays for this unit. It's absolutely insane. All right, so this system over here is called Zero Floor. It's been in Germany for about 40 years. It's an ultra lightweight system. The trick behind this is there's a drainage mat at the bottom. On top of that drainage mat, there's this stuff called water absorption mat, which is like that carpet padding type stuff that's under carpets. And then on top of that, you roll out the sedum like you would do sod. Super lightweight, saturated. It's 12 pounds per square foot. Dry, it goes down to 6 pounds. It's really cheap too. They sell it between like $8 and $10 a square foot. So whenever you see like a big thing being done, a big green roof where they're talking about acres, Javits Center just had it done. The post office downtown had a roof done a couple years ago. It's going to be sedum if it's acres because it's so cheap. They're not going to, even though let's say the post office and the Javits Center, they're able to hold 25 pounds per square foot, the cost difference would be so immense on a vast roof like that they went with a cheaper product like this. But it does handle 90% of our storms. We hardly give this any TLC. We have a sprinkler head out there. We haven't really used it in about 2 years. Basically, we put that sprinkler head out there because we just wanted to help our honeybees out a little, keep the area adjacent to their hive a little damp. So this is a regular farm, just like Brooklyn Grange. The only difference is that we can't handle what they can handle down there as far as the weight on this roof. They went with 12 inches of mineral soil. We had to go with a mix. So we went with 1/3 mineral soil, 1/3 perlite, and 1/3 compost. And then we have these like walkways here. So this averages out to about 25, 26 pounds per square foot saturated. Whereas if we went pure mineral soil, it'd be 72 pounds per square foot saturated. But if we were able to handle the weight, we would have gone with that, but we can't. So we have this lightweight mix. This stuff has been in here for about a week. Everything is taken, which is just amazing. And in a month from now, all these plants will be about 2 or 3 feet high, and they'll already have fruit on them. It's really amazing. Roof, gardens work, no question about it. You get full sun, you get this constant little breeze up here that helps with insects and bugs a little, and then you get all the rain, you get all the benefits up on the roof.
What's the difference between using like the burlap
So
and
what we did over here, we played a little with these last 2 rows. So this is 12 inches of Gaia. This is the first year we're going to play with Gaia up with the farm. And then over here we have corn. And the corn didn't grow that well the last couple of years. So what we did was we added another 3 inches of perlite to give it more of a bed. This is about a 9-inch bed. So if this corn grows great or pristine, this year we'll go with 9 inches. If it doesn't, we're going to add another 3 inches of perlite. Because the corn gets so high, it needs a root structure. That's what we're figuring.
Right here. Squash.
Yeah, squash and cucumbers. This is our first year with the Gaia, so my guys didn't want to risk it too much, so they're going with like a ground cover type vegetable. Because the tomato plants, you can see, we actually put in that Virginia creeper as like a windscreen. And then also, once this corn gets high, it's actual windscreen too, because the tomato plants, we can't put stakes in the ground, obviously. So we have to come up with some type of concept to support the tomato plants. But initially now, we're trying to cut down on the wind a little.
Where does the produce go?
The what?
Do you use the produce?
There's a soup kitchen on the other side of the bridge, so my guys bring boxes of stuff to a French nuns on the other side of the bridge, or on a soup kitchen. All right, so you saw 12 inches of Gaia and 6 inches of Gaia. This is 8 inches of Gaia. So what's unique about this is a gentleman from Colombia, Stuart Gaffin, called me a couple of years ago. He said he had a student was doing a class in green roofs. He wanted to know if students could come over and do a roof, and I said no problem. So I got the Gaia for them. They went down to the Native Plant Center in Staten Island and picked out the plants. There was a design here when they originally installed it, and this is an example of a green roof being installed by individuals that don't have green roof experience, and they did it cold, they installed it, and it's been about 4 or 5 years. It's growing great, the native plants. Something else is there. Looks a little funky, right? Right? All right, so these are mineral soil. This is 6 inches and 4 inches. Columbia's doing a big analysis. We have 10 recreation centers that have 12 beds. This is 6 beds, so we have 1,000 square feet at 10 different recreation centers in the Parks Department. And Columbia's doing an insane analysis of the microorganisms in soil. They're also they have someone working on a master's or even a doctorate, I think, on the DNA of these native plants and how they interact with the native plants at the ground level. It's absolutely...
Insect hunt, right?
Yeah, Columbia had an entomologist up here checking insects. We also had someone up here doing a study on birds. They set up a bunch of speakers and they analyzed the bird life that was up here.
Those are those little wooden things that were on the railing?
No. Those are for native bees.
Oh, yeah.
But someone had speakers up here for a while, so they really, they really want to analyze it. And for me, it's been 8 years. I don't know why we have to analyze it anymore. I mean, it's working. It's absolutely crazy. But what they're doing is they're kind of pushing the envelope. They're not giving any TLC to those ones that are in these 10 different rec centers to see how it would work without any TLC. These guys are from Toronto. They're called BioRoof. Their product's pretty good. They have a proprietary mix. I'll give you guys a handout when we leave. Their information's on there. You want to call them up. Very nice guys. They tons of information. Toronto, Chicago is way ahead of us with green roofs. So these guys have a lot of experience. The second to last bed over there is solar. So solar panel and green roofs really work. What happens is that just keeps the ambient temperature on a 90-degree day under 100 degrees. Solar still goes very well. 4 inches of mineral soil. That's the guy. This guy's product is the support underneath the solar system, which is cool. So what it is, it's like the bottom of this plastic fans out to about 90% of the area underneath this, and there's little cups in there. Right. So it's actually the weight of the 4 inches of mineral soil that actually hold the solar down. This was installed the spring before Sandy, and And the guy ran up here the day after Sandy, and his product held up, so which is pretty good. That last bed is 80% perlite. It's been in there for about 4 or 5 years. We haven't really analyzed it too much. We just haven't had the time yet. But those are native plants and native grasses with the regular potting soil with 80% perlite mixed into it. So it's a super lightweight system. Maybe this summer or next summer we'll get some interns to take out a chunk of it, analyze the plant life, the weight, the water absorption of a cubic foot, and we'll get some data on that. And last thing, we have 10 hives over here. We deal with NYC beekeeping. The hives, we lost like 8 out of the 10. So this winter, they really came up here and they really kind of helped the hives out a little. So this winter, out of 10, we only lost 2. And so far, they've been splitting hives. They've been bringing extra queens down. They even suspect they got a queen to get fertilized locally, which is very unique because there's not enough drones flying around to fertilize. So they're, which is very encouraging. And that's it. That's everything.